At, what is it, 7:01. Very good. All right, we have a quorum, which is good. Thanks everybody for showing up. And we'll try to track down Travis. Make sure he gets the communication on the links. That'd be good. Approval of minutes. Has everybody had a chance to read the October 25th open session minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I did.
The motion and second.
Unless he motions, I
Any
second.
discussion? All in favor
I'll
of
second.
approving?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, motion carries. And Happy is going to pass out the notes from the closed session. And you need those back right after we make any changes if needed.
Right. Unless you want to change something.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, there's a motion to approve. There's a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Hand it back to Happy. All right, we'll move to the Public Works report. So, up to that. Guys,
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Steve Wilson. I've been managing the Water and Sewer Department for Alliance Water for the city for a number of years now. Currently over Public Works, including parks. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. Some of the things we've been working on in the parks, for one, lots of cleanup, lots of detail work, equipment. There's been a number of pieces of equipment that have been, for lack of better words, just lack of maintained, lacking maintenance. So we've got all the equipment up to par, got facilities cleaned out, did an assessment of the tools and equipment that are in there. I've met with Jeff a few times. We have, he mentioned that the board had a number of trees that were needing trimmed or removed. He's went around, tagged most of those. So we'll be looking to get pricing on removal of that, removal of the trees. Yeah.
A lot of it's just dead branches that are over areas that people, using the park could, get injured if it decides it's gonna fall, so.
So we take that serious. We'll address those as soon as we can. There's also a tree that was down at Pinkley Park. How long's that been down, Jeff? Do you know?
It's pretty much since I started in June, it's been laying there.
First week or two in October, we went ahead and we got that tree cleaned up. Nobody can get hurt on it. Nobody has to climb on it. I walked around, did an inspection of all the equipment, looked for missing nuts, bolts, anything out of the ordinary, addressed any concerns that were needed. So it's been a busy month. Wrapped up mowing season and currently taking care of some painting. Over the winter, we will address picnic tables and benches that are in the parks. So we'll get those cleaned, maintained, straightened up. Jeff and his crew, Bart, they do a good job. You give them an assignment, they get right on it. So.
is there winterization activities you have to do on the bathrooms? Or?
Yeah.
It's all finished up,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
so they're closed. Everything but Main Street.
The back door, did we get that finished on Valley Spring bathroom?
Put a new knob on it today.
Okay.
We got a key and it's ready to go.
Okay. I don't know if you guys were aware or not, the back door, somebody attempted to break into it, damaged it. I don't know what they beat it with, a hammer, a baseball bat, something, but.
There wasn't much left to it. It was beat up pretty bad.
Okay.
So that's secure again, everything's winterized again, like he said, except Main Street bathroom. So,
What's in that other shed?
I'm not sure. At
Which
Valley
one?
Springs?
Yeah, you know that
That
one?
back one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Isn't
I
that,
don't remember what was in that.
with like just high no water thing? I don't know what's in
Did you
it.
ever go look at that back shed at Valley Springs, see what was in there?
Never been in it.
Ooh.
Gary probably knows.
I guess tomorrow will be the day.
Yep. If we don't have
So
a
you
key
mean
for
the
it,
one
Jeff,
on the,
we-
on
we have a
the,
big key.
by the road or way
So
back?
Way back.
Oh,
What'd you
okay.
say, Mark, maybe a pump house?
No, I think Lauren said that.
Yeah, I don't know what it
I don't know
is.
what, I have no idea.
It's got a
I've never been
dodgy,
there.
it's got a dodgy thing on it as well, black.
We'll check it out.
I've always been curious.
We'll have answers at the next meeting.
Have you found the transition and the combination and all that?
Absolutely. I think the transition, both parks and streets have went very smoothly. I think the staff's receptive to the change, and I don't see any issues. So,
Everybody getting along?
yeah, everybody's getting along. I think the staff actually likes to see the stuff that we're getting done, so.
Just got a couple questions for you. Lauren mentioned to me the other day about some benches, stuff on Main Street. I don't know, if you probably don't know, they got the other bench that in, right?
Yeah, it's at street department.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there should be 4 around the flagpole, right?
Yeah, because we're taking the other one over from where the other little picnic,
Yeah, right
Thing-
there
yeah,
with the
okay.
little walking path.
yeah.
Yeah, Gary said we're gonna have 4 around the
Right.
flagpole is what the idea is, so.
Right,
All the same?
and I don't know if he's.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah, they're the same. And I don't know if he's mentioned it to you, we're just trying to get all these little projects that are kind of out there finished up. The sidewalk along Jefferson, along the park there. I don't know if it's getting too cold to do that or not, but he was gonna wait till it was cooler to do that.
As far as pouring a new sidewalk?
Well, there's no sidewalk. Originally, there's supposed to be one,
Right.
and we had talked about it at, I don't remember which meeting it was, but he said basically.
Which one haven't we talked about?
Anyway,
basically?
So,
All right. Well, we haven't talked about it, nor have I heard about it, so I
yeah,
will.
well, that's why I was bringing it up. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
everything's gonna smart around, so.
So from Main Street,
Main Street down the side, I don't know
So
exactly if it
the-
went all the way down.
You
Did it
just
go all the
want
way
to go to the
down?
sidewalk where it goes into the building, or do you want to go all
No,
the way down?
it was along the street, Steve.
Along the street.
It was from Main
All
Street.
the way down.
Did it go all the way down? Okay. So,
And then, I had a couple ideas myself. I was going through the park the other day. I know we use the fenced-in area of the tennis courts for fireworks. They just use the fenced-in area according to Gary.
oh, okay.
So, is anyone opposed to me removing the other half of the old tennis court that's in disrepair? We put dirt in and plant grass there as well.
It would eventually have to be removed if we're moving forward with the master parks plan,
It
to
does.
put the hockey or multi-purpose area down
That's
there.
what I was gonna say.
It's not reusable for that type of surfacing.
Okay.
So, it's up to you whether you want him to.
The only thing I've seen is some people take their kids there with their little toy, and it's like an enclosed area where they know their kids can ride around
The
safely.
fenced-in portion would remain. I'm just talking
Okay.
the other half of the court that's not protected.
Oh,
And
yeah.
also, the light poles surrounding that one have wires hanging from them with coating worn off, exposed wires.
For the kids to swing on.
Yeah,
Is that where the rest of that playground equipment
that's
is?
in the inside of the fenced-in area,
Yeah.
which we're getting ready to address as well.
Is that Dick's
Yeah.
equipment?
Yeah, that was pieces
Yeah.
that were for the equipment on Pinkley Park.
Is it just extra?
there's not a whole lot of stuff there.
What do you do, do you scrap it
Should be for him to decide.
Yeah.
for Dick?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can get on that. I think I've mentioned it to him before, actually, but he's like 2 or 3 mentioned something like that.
So we're okay letting him finish that part, yeah?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gotta go anyway, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's better than what it is now.
Right.
check that off the list of the money we have to raise.
Exactly.
There you go.
And if anybody gets to the point, I'd like to talk to the firework company maybe, and
Okay.
I know they can bring in their own fencing and put mats on the ground as well. That other one,
So we wouldn't have to be restricted to that area to set off fireworks?
possibly,
I mean, it could be somewhere else, possibly.
possibly.
Because in future, in our park plan, that's not like designated fire park or firework area, so.
Yeah, it's just a big eyesore. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of maintenance trying to keep the weeds off of it because there's just so many cracks everywhere. It looked better, at least grass for now.
The other item I had is a bedding ball field in the park. There are 3 sets of bleachers, small bleachers there, behind the backstop. You guys familiar? They sit on the ground now. The weeds grow up underneath it. I coach Little League as well, and I've had parents complain that they're worried there's snakes under there because it's not maintained. Is anybody opposed to me pouring some concrete under those? So they sit on concrete.
Great idea.
Because the master plan didn't really address that issue, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, it would just be cosmetic and like, if anything, new bleachers when you get to it and things
I
like
don't
that.
think
But
it even
new bleachers
went
could be
across
sized
his
for
road.
concrete.
I would say, yeah, we addressed some parking
Right.
over
I
that
think
way, but
so,
that was
but
about
that was
the
about
extent of
it.
it, so.
Yeah.
Would you rehouse the snakes?
There's no snakes there.
Concrete over.
At this time of year?
We're moving them all.
No, since I started mowing, I actually lift them all up and mow.
They definitely felt like this season they were much more maintained than past seasons.
Yeah, I actually lift them up and mow under them and then put them back down, which is kind of a pain.
If you want to pour concrete, go right ahead. I don't see a
Yeah.
problem with that.
I
I
agree.
don't either.
And Steve, have you had a chance to review the master plan, or have you seen a copy of that? This will keep popping up probably.
I've seen a copy of it briefly,
Okay.
not in detail.
Maybe he should have a copy.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
I think so.
Can someone email that to me?
Yeah, where are those extra copies? Do we have
We've
extra
got
copies?
extra copies.
He has to see it.
It's also on the St. John Parks.
Never mind.
You gotta scroll down quite a bit.
Yeah, I put it on the Facebook page before, but I'll send
Take
you
it
the.
back. Two copies here.
Happy, do we need to do any like actual approval for those 2 items? I voted
Well, you don't have
approval.
expenditures, don't you? There's no expenditure for concrete, probably won't for the tear up, for the dig out of the asphalt. You
No.
don't spend money on concrete.
Down the road, there may be an expenditure for removing the lights off the poles,
Yeah.
and we can take the poles down, that's no problem, but without just letting the lights hit the ground.
Yeah. So as long as it's 2,500, we're fine.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I included it in the minutes.
Anybody have any questions?
Anything you need from the board?
Not at this
Feel
time.
free to reach out. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Good night.
He definitely needs to have a copy of the master plan,
I
Yeah.
agree.
a hard copy.
I've got the PDF that I'll,
She's
and
gonna give
then
him one.
Steve's email, so I'll get that to him. I don't know if we have any hard copies left or not,
Send one.
but,
Well, can you print another one out?
yeah, I've got the, we'll take care of, between Happy and I, we'll take care of getting Steve informed.
We'll just put it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
I was gonna say, that's the easiest way to do that, for sure.
All right, we'll move on down to old business. Master plan. First one up is fundraising committee and fundraising consultant.
So here's the contract, proposed contract from the consultant.
Okay, pass it on. There you go. Thanks, sir. Wow.
What page are you guys drawing at? Why'd you
The first
draw so
paragraph.
fast?
Happy, is this something that can be discussed openly, or is this something we gotta go closed, or?
We did not put a closed session on this agenda, so.
Okay,
So you can't,
okay, so I didn't, just want to make sure. Okay, having said that, we kind of mentioned about the hourly wage. Is that, our hourly wage, is that anywhere?
No, there is no hourly wage. It is
Yeah, I'm looking at the second to last
it's still
page, that has the same prices that they gave us before.
the monthly.
Yeah, even though we requested a possibility of an hourly wages, which could be more feasible for us, I just don't see it.
So if you take the 5,000 divided by 25, that's going to be your hourly wage.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. And yes, it can depend on who's doing the work, but still, they're figuring there's going to be extra costs, or whatever costs are going to be included in that hourly wage.
I know one of the things we talked about is this one of those deals where it's kind of like a lawyer that, where they don't collect until we have money?
Right.
Is that correct?
No.
So we have to come up with money up front.
Right, so what they proposed to me is that the first month would have to be up front, to be the retainer.
Okay.
And then you've got 3 months total, and then after the first, at the beginning of the second and the third month would be the other retainer amounts that would be due. But you're not really into the fundraising at this point. There we go. Hey, Travis.
So that's Travis.
That's Travis.
That's Travis, she's on
We don't have
TV.
any voice on it.
He's famous.
I've seen Travis before.
Can you hear
Yeah, I
us?
think he's on mute.
Can you give us a sign?
No.
Is he on mute?
He's on mute.
Because he's trying to talk.
Yeah.
You're
still on
on mute.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Travis, good deal.
Well, thank you for waiting for me.
Well, we didn't. We started.
You part of this this evening.
Good.
Truth is, we did.
We started without you.
We didn't wait for you, sorry.
We did for a while. 1 minute. So right now we're in a discussion on a proposal from a company that has made a proposal to help us with fundraising for the master plan.
So you're looking at the first month would be the upfront fee, and then after that, you'll have 2 months worth of money that would be due. And you have not started fundraising yet, you're just getting into the beginnings of that and compiling that information.
I'm pretty sure we had mentioned to her having it built in. Didn't we? Isn't that what we were wanting to do?
We just told her that we don't know where we're going to come up with the $36,000.
No, and and I thought that's why we had went that route.
So happy for a park that has very limited budget and cannot afford this. Where would we get the money?
You would have to do the fundraising up front. You'd have to get at least, if you want to get the first 2 to 3 months. You can use some of the infrastructure money, but if you did that, that would probably be the end of all the infrastructure for this coming budget.
Right.
Based on the amounts that we have looked at and are dedicated to already do some work in the park. After that, you don't have anything else left. So either it would have to go on pause, or you would have to, at that point, you're still not fundraising, so you're gonna have to figure out, you'd have to figure out a way to come up with that money. So you're looking at the first 36,000. But you really need to have-
Okay, that's what I was getting ready to say. There's no way.
You really need to have that in hand.
So without having help with fundraising, we have to fundraise to get help to fundraise.
Exactly.
That's
I
very
mean,
nice.
from our vantage point, from the city's vantage point, that's just where we are with our budget, yes.
Right.
I don't know, the schools, the other groups that had done this had money in their foundation.
Right.
That were ready for.
Sure.
putting this together and starting this process.
Right.
And had that already. But we don't have that kind of
Right.
funds. Those
And
kind of funds are available.
And I thought we communicated that to her, that we didn't have that.
I think she
Yeah.
understands that.
Yeah.
She's just,
Okay.
she's trying to figure out a way to, wants to give you at least an upfront information on this is what it's going to cost to do this type of fundraising.
Right.
And this is what you need to work towards to be able to do this. I think they have to pay their people.
Sure.
Well, sure, no, and I understand that.
If nothing else, I think it's great information for future, if we're not ready to move on this now. I think it gives you guys an idea of where we've got to work for in these grassroots efforts.
So the first months 1 through 3, monthly retainer of $12,000. So to get them, I'd say
Per
we,
month.
okay, it is per month.
For the first 3 months.
So that's $36,000 for 3 months.
So what the feeling was is that the first month would need to be upfront. The others could be done hourly, as Samara said, but you're limited on what you're able to spend even at that point. But you could limit the amount of work that was done, just extending how long your whole process is going to take.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the idea of come up with 3 months with the money and then pause.
I'm not either.
Yeah, you
I
said the
agree.
word pause, and
Once
I'm
you
like,
start-
what's the point of raising the money?
Once you start going.
Once you run out of money, then we're gonna pause, then
You
what? Then what?
But
Then
hopefully
people are
in that-
gonna say, what the heck,
Well,
Exactly.
hopefully in that 3 months, we would initiate fundraising efforts and be making money in that 3 months. I mean, we,
Yes.
right?
Well,
That's-
Or
but
at
the
least
3
getting
months
close
is the
to.
development of the plan, the fundraising plan, all the brochures and what has to be done and who we need to approach, so that's what that 3 months,
That's that
first
first
3
3
months.
months was.
Yeah, and
John's had
so,
his hand up the whole time.
I missed much of the early discussions with this group. I was not in Facebook or something, missed out on it. I would like to bring to the table the fact that I know this group quite well. We use them a lot, and they helped us raise hundreds of thousands of dollars at Tower Park. They're a very professional company. They're very effective. They're very respected. But I see the problem we've got here. I would also mention that, and I guess if it came to a vote, I might even have to abstain because of my previous relationship with the firm, and that's fine. But the schedule that they list is not unusual. It's not a gimmick or anything like that. It's a way that firms like this have to sort of screen out the unserious campaigns. And, they have to do that because,
Right.
you can't just decide, oh, this firm will do all our work for us and we can raise money for anything.
It's wasting their time.
It's wasting their time and ours as well.
And the
So
resources, yeah.
I just want to bring that out, that I don't see anything unreasonable about this, but I think we have a sort of a hard hill to climb, even if it is reasonable. And the way we were able to approach this is we would get a deep pocket friend, donor, early on to fund, phase 1 and phase 2 of the process. Maybe we can find somebody like that, but I think that's what it's going to take for a firm of this caliber to do it. But I have to tell you, I have a lot of confidence in these people. They're good people. I don't know this one person's name, and it may be that the personnel has changed.
So I believe we worked with Ellen, I can't remember Ellen's last name.
Ellen Howe and Amy Rome, who is the principal. We work with both of them. And, but they're highly regarded in St. Louis. In fact, that would get you in the door of some donors.
Well, that's
Just
what,
knowing that Rome Group was,
yeah,
we were a client of theirs.
I got that impression because she did name drop you a few times, and I didn't,
Well,
well,
I'm glad I wasn't part of the discussion.
Well,
Yeah,
and I mean-
no, that was better.
and I only mean that in a good way, like, if
Right.
you respect them and they respect you, that's a good pair right
Right.
there, because
But that doesn't
respect-
solve the problem.
No, it doesn't, but it made comfort in knowing this,
Yeah.
this company for one, and I respect you and your knowledge and all that you bring to the table. And like you said, I think if we could find that deep pocket donor, all of us would, we could just
Right.
breathe a sigh of relief, like, okay, we can get this going, because
Right.
otherwise it just feels like we're spinning our wheels again
Again,
and again.
yeah.
It's all we keep hitting these brick walls, but here's a solution, but we still have to come up with money for the solution, which, you know, that's, I think we need to work on a donor, somebody to really, I mean, who do we do? What do we do? Do we think about people, where do we go to get that person? How do we find that person?
May I ask a question? So, I've actually done a lot of fundraising in the past. I was working for a 501c3 company for a long time. And the key I have found to fundraising is engagement. So, who are we looking to approach to raise these funds to begin with?
Well, that's part of it. You know, we don't, big businesses, even people, personal people, we don't know. That's what we need to figure out. And what we are counting on them to help us do also to find out who we should approach.
Okay. So what are the funds going to specifically? Is it just the upkeep of the parks, or the new equipment that we're wanting to put in, development of some kind?
It's the whole new master plan of the whole park.
Different
Basically.
phases of our master plan. Do you have a copy of the master plan?
No, he
Or
doesn't.
have you seen it yet?
I've got his,
I have not.
I've got his contact information now, so I can forward him the PDF as well. I just got that in the last few days.
So it will include different structure, you know, just a whole new facelift for the Main Street or the Pierre Marquette Park.
So the
Adding new
idea now
facilities.
is to raise money to pay this group this amount to help us raise money to go through the phases that we have met and discussed over the last 6 months. Does that make sense?
Okay. That does make sense. But I don't know if that would be entirely necessary to hire a firm. If you get the right engagement, connect with the right people, because it's part of the research that I've done is you find that the majority of people who give are actually not the deep pocket people. The majority of people who give are people who've connected, have some kind of connection to the project, who agree with the vision, and they just want to give what they can. And even, you know, you get these small donors who give regularly. And then there's this, you know, community building, which, you know, what you want for a park, right? So, anyway, not saying that we should use the firm, but just the idea that if we can get engagement from the community, more people are made aware of it, and they get on board with, yeah, we want this for our park, we want this for our community. We get people in the community engaged and invested in it.
When the research was done, the community spoke by saying what they would like to see happen in the park. So there were surveys made early on, and the community said, we want a better, let's say, walking track. We would like to see certain things happen. So we know the community is in on this. We just don't know how to go about communicating with the community to get them to give us the money, so to speak.
Right.
And that's why we hired a firm that specializes in this kind of business. And the big discussion right now is how to come up with the upfront money to pay them to do the legwork for us to get most of the money.
You said hired, but we haven't.
We didn't hire them. Yeah, sorry, we didn't hire anybody
Oh,
else.
that's Mr. Deep Pocket here.
No.
I would point out that one of the first things that they're talking about here is a feasibility study. And it's not an automatic that the feasibility study says, yeah, we can do this, let's go for it. It might say, you need to trim your sails, you have so much capacity, but you don't have the capacity to do it. We don't want to hear that, but, you know, it's,
Yes.
we have to be ready to hear whatever
Right.
they evaluate. And I think we do have some issues in terms of building up leadership on a campaign. I mean, it's, It's an issue.
It's a bit huge
Everybody's
undertaking.
overcommitted already. We got a lot of other successful campaigns that have taken place, and we're not quite in the same position as some of those other institutions.
And I understand there's a couple more coming down the pipe
They're
for
right.
different entities are wanting to raise funds for their facilities and stuff, so.
Right.
It's hard.
But I think what we should be ready, if we are able to raise money to get an initial phase one of this, is to talk turkey with them about, well, what is our capacity, and what could, if we don't have the capacity now, what could we do to get the capacity? But they're not paid to just say yes, 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 yes. They're paid to be, honest and tough. And that's what our experience with it was, so I don't know, but we still have to get to the first base.
So does it look like then we need to come up with $36,000 or so to get us to that point? Is that what people are reading?
I mean,
Think
that's what it looks like to
From
me.
what I understood from Happy, 12,000 for sure, and
Just-
then we can, maybe an hourly for the next 2 months, which could be less than that, I
You're
don't
still
know.
gonna need money for the hourly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Right,
we
you're
just
gonna,
need
yeah,
money.
I mean, you're gonna need it, it's just, if you're doing the hourly, you're just gonna slow things down,
All right.
essentially.
It does seem like we need some target.
Right.
30 or 36, right?
Right.
How much do we have?
Well,
So our budget shows that it includes the trail that we anticipated doing this year. We're probably gonna have between 10 and 12,000 at this point that would be flexible to use for infrastructure.
Does our account in the Ozark Foundation?
And that's
It has-
that's
what does it have,
I think it shows 4,500.
That's what I say, 4,500.
46, 45, 75.
Yep, and the funds from the
That's
tower
right.
up there,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Do
does that
those go
include the
into-
town money?
That's still part of your infrastructure amount.
It's still part of it, okay. Yeah, because that only comes to what, like, not even 12, about 10,000 a year.
That was 600, something like that.
Because speaking for me, I know nothing about fundraising. I
I
know
don't-
nothing,
I'm with
I
you.
know
I think
nothing.
most of
So
it's in here, I mean, other than like.
I would be that
send the
first
kids out
person
there
to
with
pay
pies.
somebody to do this job because.
Right, I would too.
And I get it, we need the money. So,
I think John's the most experienced with
Well,
Right.
going through a campaign, just understand.
Well, okay, yeah.
Just understanding the process.
One of the things they'll tell you is that they don't raise the money, we would raise the money.
Right.
They'll help guide us and teach us how and
Mhm.
everything, but people won't give money to them.
Right.
People will give money to us because they believe in the park, they believe in the
Right.
community, they believe in what we're doing.
and even if that means bringing on board people that have connections. So those people will connect with those people, like
Right.
maybe they don't have faith in what they see around this table.
And that's,
Or,
that could be part of it.
but they want something for their community. People are so different nowadays too. It's not like it used to be where they're more giving with their money. I don't think they just want to really be accountable of everything and every person. It's all personal, it seems like to me. So that would be another aspect too, getting more people on board that have connections as well. So, you can put that out there too, to saying anybody you want to come on board so we can make some money, basically. I don't think it's just up to us. We gotta do some networking. And if we want to do this, we've been sitting around this table how long, how many years? It's the same
But
people.
now
and
we
if we-
finally got something that,
Yeah, we're
strive towards.
seeing the wheels starting to turn, but
right.
if the community doesn't jump in with us,
Well, I mean, it's gonna depend on the community, it's gonna have to be up to them.
Well, and
You
I
know.
want to chime in here too. It is up to the community to join in, but we also have to look at how we're engaging the community and inviting them to the table. Just as everybody here is overcommitted with their things, everybody out in the community is overcommitted. Parents with young children in multiple sports or organizations.
Sure.
farmers, working sun up, sun down, whatever the case, people working multiple jobs, running their own businesses, whatever the case, everybody's gonna have their commitments out there. So we have to make this an inviting, we have to give them an invitation that they want to accept. And I think we really started to kind of turn the corner this past summer with the community and engagement through hosting a few events in the park. It might not seem like they were the biggest events, and we might have only made $50 in the concessions.
But they see it.
But that's not what the movie series was about. It was about building partnerships with community organizations like Sean and the library, and giving family-friendly entertainment inside of our parks. And so I think we have to, as a board, really focus on that. We're indebted to Sam here, she's gonna kind of shake her head no here, but the work that she's put in this summer and showed up at, and she continues to show up at her meetings, even though she doesn't have a vote in these, that's the kind of engagement that we need from every board member here when we can give it. I understand that there's different things, but we need everybody pitching in. When we have an event, so simple as showing up and introducing yourselves. I had a table set up at one of our movies that said, learn more about our park board. I had our plan laid out, and I heard a couple people say, oh, I want to look at this map here. And looking at that, they didn't ask a lot of questions about joining the board, but a lot of them were out in the county. But those are how the conversations start. It's showing up to the events that we want to invite people to. If we're not going to show up, it's really hard to ask the public to show up. And so we have to engage with what we are organizing in order for the public to engage. And I'm kind of talking around in circles here, but I hope I'm making that kind of a little bit more clear. So however we want to move forward with fundraising, we need to be all in as a board. And it's not just the fundraising committee organizing this, or it's not just this person saying they'll spearhead this. Everybody's going to need help moving forward on this. So I really want to encourage you guys to engage in those.
Yeah, I get that, and it also goes back to what I was saying, we need more people like on this board.
Yeah, I think
Even
that's-
besides going to those events that the few or the one
Yeah.
person is putting on, if we had more people at this table.
Yeah, and I think that too is part of trying to make a more enticing invitation. When people show up and they only see Sam and me at the movies in the park events, and neither one of us is a voting member, although we can sit here and say this park board is making moves, which you all are. What we've done in the since early 2020 is a big step in the right direction. So it's definitely something to be proud of. But until the public sees everybody on this board engaging, they're like, oh, that's Lauren, she's on the park. You almost want them to know you for being on the park board in that relationship. And they're going to say, oh, you're having a lot of fun with it, or you're making big moves. I want to be a part of that. So it's really selling your position on the board. I have conversations all the time with my friends about it. It's just, unfortunately, most of my friends live out in the county or outside the city. But it's if you guys know people here, engage them in those conversations. Because I can post all day and night on Facebook saying we need more board members. But what happens when I do that is it almost triggers a thought to members of the public, well, why do they have so much turnover, or why are they this? And the truth is, we don't have a whole lot of turnover that's negative. So it's, but you don't get a
People
chance
just
to
move out
explain
of
those
town.
situations.
How do we even have turnover?
No.
Well,
You know?
we lost
Not
Jerry
really.
Schwint,
Well, right, but
Right.
and things like that, but, we really haven't had negative turnover. But you
But
don't get a chance to explain why your board isn't full all the time. If you're just constantly saying, hey, we need board members, they're like, weren't you just asking for that 2 months ago or last year or things like that, and you don't get a chance to explain. We've just been working with a smaller board for so long. So it's really engaging your communities that you're in, and trying to reach out to people you think might be fit for it. Like Travis, you got connected through Mayor Hassler, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so that was Mayor Hassler reaching out to people he thought might be a good addition to the board. So that's what I encourage you all to do, because we're not going to get too much further on just Facebook posts.
Yeah.
So.
Happy, any objection, take advantage of something like Jeur de Fête. Have like that, I'm looking at that map, can we blow up like the master plan and have a design with maybe like hand out water and ask me about your park and take donations? Is that something illegal to do?
Oh, we can do that.
Okay, because I think we can make some money at Jeur de Fête.
Oh, yeah.
If we have a booth, if we have a nice design table with questions and maybe people can drop some suggestions. I think if we do something like that with possibly asking people for donation, you might be surprised.
And that gets brought up every year,
Yeah,
every Jeur de Fête.
Oh, I know.
The same conversation gets brought up.
Well, and there's
Does it
also,
happen?
I
no,
was gonna say, I think
No.
that goes back to what Ashley was trying to say, is that we can keep talking about the things we could be
Yeah, I
doing,
know.
but
we
until
have to
people
do it.
actually do it, it's not, I mean, we're just beating a dead horse here.
Yeah, because I mean, I had no problem with that, but Jeur de Fête, sometimes I'm a little busy with it. I know Lauren is with the restaurant, but I've been kind of filling in on the committee a little bit.
And I don't know what Jeur de Fête's requirements are for their vendors. I don't know if they allow
You can do it in
nonprofits.
front of Ciro's.
For free.
Yeah.
Well, and you can
She's
utilize Main Street Park and
She's
and
right.
things like that. And Jamie and the board, they want to get the community involved in community
Right.
organizations. We have Main Street Park as a property.
Yeah, we could just do it there.
So, but we can work with Jeur de Fête board on doing something, but we have to have members that are gonna be able to show up and organize
well, in order
that.
to do both days, almost everybody has to do a shift.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
it has
yeah.
to be that way.
And I'm here, I can do the shit.
You could do it all.
And then, you know, and that's in August, so that's definitely a good idea, but that is in August. That doesn't necessarily get us here, but that is something that we need to keep in mind.
But that would be part of a whole, I'm sorry, Travis, go ahead.
So isn't there an event happening downtown next month?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. There's other things. There's,
Christmas
Yeah.
walk.
Christmas walk.
Christmas is
walk.
happening
That's a
next
different type of
weekend.
event.
what, Christmas?
I don't know, it's so,
It's more of a
But you could,
There's a lot of
somebody
pedestrian-
could throw, somebody could have an old truck and put a park board sign on it and have,
It died.
and drive
never
in the
make it.
parade, and people could see that there's actually a park board.
I'm not
You
driving
know.
that truck in the parade.
Well, you know, I mean,
It's
that's an
embarrassing.
idea too, to make, you know,
I tell you what, we do, we'll put the convertible top down and let you sit on the back. How's that?
you
sure.
could park your truck in the park.
We'll give you a fishing net and you can just extend it, people can drop money in it.
I just think there's a million
Anyway,
ways to bring attention and make money or
Yeah.
raise money. It's just the manpower to do it and the energy and the like, all right, yes, let's do this. Just like I'm thinking, why don't we pick a tree up in the park and just cover it completely with a ton of million trillion lights? You know, just to get people up there like, wow, have you seen that tree up in the park? It's better than the Grimminger's house. You know, just one tree. Sorry. Well, and that
Drive by it
brings,
on your way to
Is
drive
that one of the
that
dead,
brings
is that one of the
people.
dead
We
trees?
need to
Is that what you're?
You know,
capitalize on the
after that comment,
Grimmingers.
you may not have a job tomorrow
I
if they're
know.
watching TV.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, something like that.
How are, going back to the point that Lauren raised earlier about our board, how are the members appointed? I should know that, but I don't.
They,
By the mayor recommends and the board consents.
Yeah.
or like,
But
if
you
you,
can recommend to the mayor
Right.
if you know somebody.
Thanks, Angie.
I see.
You know, or you can let me know, you can let Happy know, and we can pass it along to the mayor, you
And
can
I've
call the
been
mayor directly.
approached by people before too, you know, because they'll either read it in the comments, like, you guys, I always like your ideas, and they will come on board, literally,
Yeah.
come on.
And if
Show
they're
up.
hesitant, invite them to a meeting, and they can ask whatever questions they need to, or sit in, show them the master
Especially
plan,
younger
like,
people with kids and more energy, and their kids can help, and, or grandmas with grandkids and kids, and I know everybody's busy, but where's this world gonna go if everybody just keeps saying they're busy?
well, you just have to make it something that they want to spend their time
You gotta make
at.
it
Yeah.
pri- you gotta make
is-
it a
is the
priority.
thing.
Well, I feel like I'm relatively new on this board, not as new as I used to be, but relatively new. And I have to say that what's really impressed me about this board is the dedication of the people. And the tenure, the lengthy period of time in which they've dedicated it. But it's also true that maybe we should look for some new skill sets, some additional types of board members. Because I'm very proud to be a member of this board, but I think we have some gaps in our overall skill set that we probably should try to fill. Maybe that's one of the things that we could talk to the mayor about.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at this, Sam's not even a member, but she's the only one with young children. All of us don't have,
Well,
oh, I'm
Travis,
sorry, I forgot about the one daughter. I mean, but that's it.
well,
That's,
Travis has young kids.
scratch that. Never mind.
Well, and John, you're probably referring to some like executive level experience, bringing
Well,
in different levels of
everything,
like
everything.
background experience too, you know, like we've got some idea people and we've got some go-getters and stuff, but maybe we need a little bit more polish on some of the executive, aspects or vice, you know, whatever the case
Make a
may be.
list of what you're looking for.
Yeah,
And then
you
go
know.
after them.
Plumbers.
Right here.
Always need plumbers.
we got the water department.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
check.
Ask Steve, don't ask me.
All right, back to where were we?
But I bet the mayor would support us if
Yeah.
we had
Oh,
some
oh,
specific
oh, yes.
ideas.
Oh,
and
sure.
he would- And he knows a lot of people,
Yeah.
of course.
And he's always trying to get people too. He's very proactive,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and he's a good mayor. We just need people.
Invite a friend for the next one.
Yeah.
So have you reached a decision on the Rome group and how you want to proceed forward
I think we need to come up with a funding plan on how to get to there.
and put this on hold?
Yeah, I think so. You know, if that's through the bike competition, your vet, reaching out to, 3 or 4 of the organizations or people that we think might be willing to help us through phase 1.
Start to even get to the
Well, and you,
start.
Travis's experience and knowledge, I mean, to get us
Yeah.
some money to maybe to employ them. Or if you think we don't need to, you know, what are your ideas and things like that? That could be a whole nother meeting.
I wanted to ask, if I could get a copy, you said that there was some research done about what the community wants in the park, correct?
The survey,
It is.
Yeah,
It was a survey.
Good. Yeah. And we'll get you a
Great.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, a copy of that, that'd be great, because mobilizing is what I do. I connect with people, engage them, and get them to be a part of the vision of what's going on. So once my head wrapped around, hold on, I've got a phone call coming in.
It's a new member? Is it a new member already?
Somebody's ready.
Yeah, so, once I get my head kind of wrapped around what the overall picture is, I can start, get ways to engage people and present this to people, in ways that they'll want to engage with it.
Sounds good.
Good.
All right.
So my recommendation is that somebody ask to table this
Yes, I'll make, do you need a recommendation or a motion?
motion.
I'll make a motion that we table this until
We get appropriate,
Yeah, appropriate time comes up.
a second.
Could I offer an amendment that that be done with a friendly communication to the Rome group that we're
Yes.
actively
Yes.
seeking
Yes.
how to go about?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely,
Agreed.
absolutely.
Good. All right. Any discussion?
Everybody looks at happy when if somebody says that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye. You're good. All right, good discussion, really important discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a copy of that? Does he have a copy of this?
No.
Aaron, we'll pick my daughter.
Because we're gonna pass it out tonight.
How does he get this stuff?
Sorry, I got to run, I got to pick up my daughter from gymnastics.
Thank
There you
you.
go.
See ya.
Any questions or anything?
I'll call you.
No problem.
He said-
Not related, but I'll talk to you.
Because he wasn't able to.
Okay.
Yeah, just share the.
Oh, you guys want to come over?
And the
Here's a
survey.
copy of the road group discussion too. All right. All right, very good. Any committee reports? Any other committee reports?
So trail committee, we did not get the state grant,
Okay.
so we'll have to apply again in December. That's when the grant cycle starts over. In discussions with, I'm gonna get an updated estimate on what the cost is for the section that we talked about. From my discussions with an engineer, his belief is that the state may put our request down lower than others. We don't gain as many points because it's not new. It's existing. All we're doing is just repaving and going over what is existing, so that may hurt us next year.
What
So
about tearing, oh, okay, I see
you're
what you're saying.
tearing out, you're just replacing what is an existing trail. If you put in something brand new,
That's just stupid.
and that's maybe the uphill battle that we're gonna be fighting against.
Happy, do you need these back or where?
No, you can keep it.
So if it was brand new,
If it
Well,
was
I
brand
didn't-
If it
new.
was a brand new trail that goes from this spot to this spot, and there's nothing that is in between that exists like it does now around the park, then if we were to put a trail in from, and we've looked at this, from Jurfet Park to the Amro House, down
Right.
St. Mary's Road and along the park, that would probably score higher than just replacing that section that we're looking at. But we're still gonna put in for it and see what happens. We still have the money from the Community Foundation, so we have that matching amount that we can include. That'll increase our points. We'll, again, have engineering information to send to them. We don't have a particular drawing, an exact drawing of that plan, so that probably doesn't help us either. But we'll look at what that cost is to draft, whatever that cost would be for the whole trail, and we would have that on file. So we will put in and then see what happens.
Is Wholesome still doing the community grant thing?
Yeah, that
That's
wrapped
done,
up
right?
this year.
Okay, I thought so. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, that might be a good idea, maybe possibly get the funds for this.
Yeah, yeah. 'cause
can I
they-
ask something? If we get the trail put in first, that won't affect any other phases, or is that
Mm-mm.
part of the whole one phase, or?
We're just talking a section of the trail at this point, and this is part of that is not going to be affected in the future. Parts of
Right.
it will be affected in the future. It will have to be rerouted, there will be other extensions, but for the main part of the trail that we're looking at, some of it will have to be changed to meet the new,
ADA.
No, just,
Or,
meet the new development that goes in there.
Oh, okay.
For the Adventureland Park.
oh, right,
the
oh,
amphitheater,
okay, I see what you're, okay.
That'll be different.
so that's what confuses me. We talk about this trail all the time, but is that we just say we get the funding, we just sit on that funds till we get the other phases money? Or do we go for the trail first and,
So this is particular for the trail that we have to put in. Within 3 years, it has to be spent. So this is a section we can do without interfering with anything, any of the future development. So it
Right.
doesn't impact anything that we're going to do. But it is a demo to those that are in the park going, ooh, I
Ooh,
like
this is nice.
Right.
And that may spur some interest
Exactly.
in what's going on out there.
Because the section would be going like basically from the big pavilion parking lot down by the basketball courts and stuff, right? Is that
Yeah,
the
this is
section?
the first small pavilion.
Yeah,
652 feet or so.
yeah.
that's it?
And that's $58,000.
So then we could do a fundraising event, buy a yard. Buy a yard of this path. or
That's a good
something like
idea.
that. Buy a
This,
wood.
this improvement will be paid for.
Right, but I
Right.
mean, in future, I could
If you
just
want
be,
to, yeah, if you want to then use that and say, here, you want to buy a yard of trail, or you want to help with the park, this is now what it's going to look like. This is what the improvement will look like.
Right.
This is why you want to see it go in.
And it would be a key point to getting better connectivity from the big
Yeah.
pavilion to whatever bathroom
Mhm.
facility would be there. So it'd give us the starting ground for that if we get moving on bathrooms too.
And will the city do a plaque that says a name of all the people that contributed towards that? Would
How
that be
about
a
how about
possibility?
a stamp in the concrete?
That's what I'm saying, something like that.
let's get that first part built first. Yeah.
I think that
I
would be a
agree.
big deal. If they see it, they
People
will
like
be
their name on
excited about
stuff. But yeah, I agree with Lauren. Let's get this first part done, then we'll,
it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I want all the trees labeled.
whose name you want on them?
No, I want
Mabel?
people to be able to identify the trees that are in the park. Okay.
All right, thank you,
Poison,
Abby.
I do say poison.
Any other committee reports?
I'll just give an update on the movie in the park. For Hocus Pocus, we had between 75 and 80 people total for the evening. It was probably our biggest turnout. And even though we didn't make as much as we had hoped, we still sold. I mean, I think that was our busiest concession night too. We had included hot chocolate, and we got pizzas from Ciro's and sold it by the slice and everything. I mean, it was probably, I think it was our best one yet. So I did talk with Sean. We do still have the rights for Frozen, or the license for Frozen, so we do need to use it. So we're thinking of doing something at the Oris sometime this winter, and doing, again, pizzas, concession type food there, like
How long
popcorn or
is that
something.
license for, do you know?
I don't. I would assume like a year, but I could ask him.
It'd be so cool to do a cold day movie. That would be-
Yeah, all I'm
Outside?
saying, just to keep this in mind, February
Okay.
and half of March.
Yes, the last 2 weeks and the first 2 are full. Yes.
Which doesn't mean we couldn't be a Saturday night,
Right.
which
Right.
makes more sense than a Friday night. Friday
Yes,
nights are
for
busy.
families. Yeah.
And also I would have to check on his license. I don't know if those licenses crisscross or something
I don't
to show a
think it
movie.
will, because it's in our name, so I don't know that it would matter. I don't know. I'd have to, or like the,
But
It would
even if it is,
basically
we'd
be
figure
doing-
something out, because that'd be kind of cool.
yeah,
It would kind of like just be doing like a private show,
right,
so to speak.
yeah.
I know,
You're not
but-
charging people to see it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of licensing going on there.
But I did bring it up to him about doing it in the Oris, and he seemed like it wouldn't be a problem. He
Okay.
said, just let me know when, and he could make it work. Because, too, he said he could swing by, anytime then, and look at the hookup, just to make sure that what he has is compatible. 'Cause
What does he play it on?
Usually a computer. He's been putting it, because the first movie kept skipping when they did it with the museum group, so they started putting it on a flash drive instead.
Yeah, because we got it, it's all set up.
Okay.
It's a really good
Perfect.
deal there. That-
Okay, then we should be fine.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
They used
And you can-
they used the computer on Saturday to show some of the
Yeah.
volleyball stuff, so I know it's set up.
Okay,
And that screen's huge.
It is humongous.
yeah, so I'll just keep you posted once we decide what works for them and us, but since he won't have to put up the screen or anything, he may just be able to hand me the flash drive and
Well,
let
and
me
that's a
do it,
rain or
so.
shine thing, or
Yes.
snow or whatever. and
Yeah.
They could
So.
come dressed and we could have competition, like dress up, whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. We're trying to talk him into doing movie night, doing something in the venue anyway, and maybe it could just all be park related.
Right.
To get it-
That was something we had kind of thrown out about, everybody did really love the movie in the park during the summer, and they were asking, are you gonna do it again? And so there was a lot of feedback that they were interested in doing it in the winter, somewhere else if we had to, but I think the Oris would be perfect for it, so.
There could even be a date night for just adults only too.
That was something that was asked. They were like, can we have one that's adult not like adult films and not just kid
Adult
films.
films?
Well, not,
That's a whole nother
I should say
license.
PG-13 or up, sorry.
Sure.
Bad choice of words.
Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
So,
All right, well, thank you so much for making,
It's a lot of work. I appreciated it.
and I think, I agree with Ashley that has long-term benefits.
Oh, absolutely.
I do too.
The work we're doing. May not know when, but it will.
I have to laugh when you return the percolator. The picture goes, Sam returned some contraption. I go, a contraption? He goes, oh, it's something. I go, the coffee, the percolator? He goes, the what?
It's like,
I'm
what?
Oh,
Shoot.
I think one of the other old business items we had was to pick a date for the December meeting.
what did we discuss about that? Are we doing it at
I
your
think
house?
we, well, we were planning on going ahead and having another meeting because we had all this going on.
But since we've tabled
But since
that.
Now that we've
tabled
tabled it, do we
that.
still want to have a December meeting?
Because right now it's gonna fall on December 27th. I will not be here.
I probably won't. Well, I may. I'll be on vacation, so.
27th to 28th. 27th is a Monday, right?
Yeah.
Do it the week prior?
I think I'm on vacation that week.
It's not all about you, okay?
No,
It's never about
no, I'm just saying, I'll be in town.
Today's Tuesday.
Huh?
Going to Germany?
It's the end of the year.
I'm going in May for 2 weeks and again in September, that's another week.
So what, wait, first of all, are we doing a meeting or are we not doing a meeting and just having our little get together?
In the past, we met at Barb's house or somewhere and had dinner.
Sarah's or whatever. Mark's house. We met
They
at
would
your
meet
house.
at somewhere like
Did
the
at my house
Anvil
one year.
upstairs. They let us do that, or,
Never did that one here, did we?
yeah, we did. That was awesome.
They are closed on Mondays, so just a reminder for
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Who's that?
That's right,
The Anvil.
yeah.
All right, we'll do it Tuesday then? 21st?
Yeah, bring them my phone real quick.
Also has that upper room,
Who does?
Who does?
Who?
common
Oh,
grounds.
Common Grounds.
Oh, yeah.
You got food?
Oh, yeah, but they don't have any food in the evenings.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
I
mean,
know in the past, they had, they would open for special
Right,
events like
yeah.
that and even cater. I don't know with the new management if that would be an option, but
Oh,
it'd be something to present to them if we could get the anvil.
Want to try the Anvil on the 21st?
I can't do the 21st.
I was gonna say I can't either, but
That's too close to Christmas, you guys.
The 14th?
That would be better for, I know it's not about me, but I think for a lot of
It's
people.
all about you
if that's
also.
the case, we
Well,
might
the
as well do the
21st is the
13th.
week of Christmas.
On a normal
And is this
Monday.
intended to be more of a social than?
Yeah, 'cause I'm on vacation that day.
I don't think any business,
Yeah.
just a social.
Yeah, just,
Yeah,
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 I think
just
we
If
just,
that's the case, just keep it on a Monday, since everybody seems to be here on a Monday, so why?
well, we were
Then we
worried if
need
we
to
did the
find-
Anvil, they would be closed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so that's
right,
why
I'm
we were
sorry.
looking at
That's
Tuesday.
one reason why.
Can you clean
No.
your basement up?
Tuesday the
14th is
14th.
fine.
come out.
Okay.
Sure.
I could probably get to basics.
6 o'clock?
We just
6
bring
o'clock
whatever,
it
like
is.
we do.
Yeah, just do
Let's
potluck.
do that. That was
Yeah.
better than, I don't want to go to a restaurant. I work in a restaurant.
You wanna do that?
I listen to-
You wanna do a potluck?
I'd rather do a
Potluck like
potluck.
we always do.
We can do it in my basement if you want, I don't care. Somebody better come help me clean.
That's why he wants to host it.
I gotta put all my Halloween stuff back away.
Whatever works, just let us know.
All right, place to be determined. How about
There
that?
you go, good
All
idea.
right,
On the 13th or what?
What
No,
date?
14.
14th.
But
14th.
no official, for the
No
public,
official
no
business.
official meeting.
Right,
no voting.
everybody get
But
together,
I'm on
have a good time.
vacation the 13th.
Sounds like a healthy thing to do.
All right, okay, any other old business? All right, any new business?
I do have something. I am on the chamber board, and we are currently looking at, every year they do a leadership program, and I forget how many people are allowed to join for that. And they typically go around each month, and they will visit different businesses within the community, get a tour, And then they always spend some time doing kind of like a team building, exercising, networking type of thing. So I think they usually have topics that they like to hit. I think there's 6 different ones, one of which they are looking at Parks and Rec. So something that was asked is if we would be interested in hosting them for a park work day, to do a cleanup day, something like that. So I knew Valley Springs Park was one that we keep talking about, doesn't get to happen because we just keep having to cancel, and so I threw that out as an option. So basically their leadership group would meet us at Valley Springs Park, or probably you guys, and we would put them to work. They'd help clean, trim, rake, whatever we wanted them to do, because I don't know if it's going to be spring, summer, fall. I'd have to get with Dina to find out what date they would be with us, but so that would determine.
Christmas lights,
We have to do Christmas lights.
tree.
And then afterwards, part of their networking portion, they would, we threw out the idea of having somebody present the master plan to the group. So another way to kind of spark interest and get people on board with what's going on. So yeah.
That sounds good.
That's great. I think bringing them out during the mulching of that.
There you go.
Well,
Mulching the trails.
mulching's pretty,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty easy to do. It's,
Wow.
there's some mulch, spread it.
While Jeff's on the topic of mulch, actually Steve and I kind of been talking as something that I wanted to bring up with you guys in the future when we get a little closer to it, is that Valley Springs Trail. Every year we mulch it and the weeds just come back up. It's a lot to reline it. I had brought it up with, I think, maybe Sam and Happy, what they thought about if instead of mulching, we laid down some screening, and basically kind of like a packed gravel, which would be an ADA surface, and did the upper part of the trail, which is about almost a quarter mile by the time it's said and done, did the upper part of the trail in that packed screening instead of mulch.
That would be really nice.
And that would make a ADA accessible walking path within that park on the upper deck, and we could potentially partner with, I can think of a couple of events that we can maybe partner with the library on or do ourselves. They're like story walks and stuff. And then it would be a little less maintenance every year, because I don't know how much you guys have to spend weed eating that and moving the rocks and mulching and stuff. And then that mulch, you get a mole under there and it just tears it right up. So just something for you guys to consider. I talked to Steve about it, so he said he'd walk it sometime and get an idea of what it would cost or take to do that. But while you brought it up, I just thought I'd chime in.
How hard does that stuff get?
It gets nice. Well, my garden and backyard, and in back, that's what was in that. It'll pack down like almost like concrete.
And it doesn't bubble like of mold, because that
Well, it
park's
does a
full of
little
mold.
bit. It will a little bit.
It can a little bit, but I mean, it's a little bit, in my opinion, it's a little bit easier to maintain in those aspects. You get a divot, you fill it in and pack it and whatever else, but it's an ADA approved surface, which I think brings a lot of accessibility to that park that is not accessible to some demographics.
So is he gonna look into that? Or
Yeah,
is
he's
that
gonna
just-
look into it, and it'd be something that we'd probably talk about as we get closer to the springtime and whatnot, but I just wanted to throw it out there, if there was any objections
Yeah, like
off
you-
the bat.
Well, you've mentioned that, you
Yeah, I think-
discussed that with me as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, that's the same stuff
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah. So, while Jeff brought it up, I thought
That's
I'd
good.
chime in, so.
Any other business anybody has?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Yep.
Aye. Thank you guys for coming.